Hey people, I'm going to go over how to make these broken glass effects in Photoshop. Layers palette looks a little complicated, but that's okay. We can still do this. There's another one. And one last one. Yeah, so let's just start from scratch. We don't need to save these. We're just going to close them. Right, here we go. All right. So we are going to quick open a portrait and some. All right, so we got our portrait, right? And then we're also going to open some pieces of glass. There we go. All right, so they're just open in different tabs, right? And what I'm literally going to do is go piece by piece. So on our broken glass piece, I'm going to use the lasso tool and just get like a rough selection. Go Command C to copy, and then over here, Command V to paste. All right, and we position it how we want it to. If we need to, edit, free transform, and rotate it, we want to kind of put it into place right now. And then, yeah, we're gonna like select the actual piece of glass with the quick select tool. All right, we quick select it. Be careful around the edges. Let's zoom in a little bit. Get like a good selection. Come on. And if we select too much, hold Option to remove from selection. We even like make the brush a little bit bigger. Oops. All right. So we get a good selection, right? It's important to get a good selection. And then, oh, right here too. Now we're gonna mask it. Hit the mask button. All right, that's good. And then what we're going to do is actually duplicate the background. So Control duplicate layer, right? And this extra background layer with the broken glass that we just masked, we're gonna group it. It's Command G or layer group layers, right? And now they have this like little group. We're gonna move the mask from the broken glass layer onto the actual group, so it'll mask both the broken glass and the portrait copy. All right. And then, yeah, it's about changing the blend mode of the glass. I like using soft light, whatever you do, you want to, or maybe hard light might work better. Yeah, let's do hard light. Whatever you choose, you just want to be consistent for every piece of glass. So that's like putting the mask on the glass and the background copy, and we do that so that we can enlarge the this layer, the extra portrait layer. Let's go edit, free transform, and we are going to zoom out so that we can like enlarge this copy. I'm going to hold down Option and Shift, let it grow a little bit, and that way, the inside the glass is a little bit bigger and has a little bit of magnification than the rest of the image. And that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and continue and grab another piece of glass. We're going to do this all again. Here, I'm going to hit the L is for lasso on the keyboard. Get this piece of glass. Command C to copy, and then back over here, Command V to paste. Hit OK. And oh, I pasted within this group, so I'm just going to move it up. All right. And move this thing around. Command T is transform. We rotate it and put it in position now, so we don't have to worry about it later. And then, oh, put it back. There we go. And quick select it. Quick select. That looks pretty okay already. And hit the mask button, right? And then we got to duplicate the background. Command J is duplicate layer, or you can go control click or command click. No. Command click duplicate layer, right? But here's my duplicated layer, and I'm gonna put that next to my piece of broken glass and group that layer, right? This is the masked piece of glass and my duplicated layer. I'm going to group it. It's Command G or layer group layers. And this is like the trick when you group the layers, to take the mask from the shard of glass and put it on the group, so it masks both the shard of glass and the portrait layer. I'm going to change the blend mode of the glass to, we like hard light, and then take that extra duplicated background and transform it, make it a little bit bigger. Edit, free transform. Zoom out so we can see what we're doing. Hold down Option and Shift so it scales proportionally, just a little bit, so it doesn't exactly line up with, you know, the background portrait layer. And yeah, that's it. That looks pretty good to me. Let's go get ourselves another piece of glass with the lasso tool. This one's like nice and sharp. Again, I'm going Command C to copy over here, and then Command V to paste over here. And of course, it's supposed to be in the last group. It's supposed to be on its own for right now. And let's go edit, free transform, so we can rotate it and put it in position how we like it. And let's quick select it. Quick select the shard of glass. Alrighty. Looks okay. Hit the mask button, right? And then we're going to duplicate that background. Command J to duplicate background or duplicate layer. We're going to move that duplicated layer right next to our new shard of glass layer. And then group both that duplicate and the shard of glass layer, group layers, or Command G, right? And then move the mask onto the group, and we're going to change the blend mode of that piece of glass to hard light. Again, just be consistent with it. And yeah, then take that background copy that's in that group and Command T or edit, free transform will allow you to scale. When you hold down Shift and Option together, you can scale it up a little bit, and you see that the image inside that piece of glass is now just a little bit bigger than the background right there, so it doesn't line up perfectly. It has that kind of magnified effect. So that's like kind of the basics of getting a piece of glass into your portrait or on top of your portrait, and making a group with a duplicate and putting the mask on the group and enlarging that duplicated background layer. There's a couple other things we can do to make these look super cool. One of which is add layer effects. We can, what is it? I think it's control click. Oh yeah, control click and blending options. I think we can just do that on the group. Control click, blending options, And then down here is like the drop shadow. So we're just gonna add like a little bit of shadow there. You kind of see it. So if you click on the drop shadow, then you get like, here, let's move it out of the way. So you can kind of see all the different options you have. You can up the distance and you see like the shadow, the drop shadow grow a little bit. I'm gonna kind of adjust the position of that drop shadow and maybe the distance of it, the size. Let's get it to like, yeah, that looks okay. It's like a nice big drop shadow. And then here's a trick: if you hit Make Default, then it'll save all these settings right here. And when you go to the next one, it's like the next shard of glass. Oh, you see like where it says effects and then drop shadow. That's the layer effects. So that whole group has that drop shadow effect, but my other two pieces of glass don't. So let's go back to my another piece of glass, and then Control click blending options. When you hit drop shadow, let's see. Oh, it does have the same exact settings. It has the same distance, angle, spread, all that's the same because we hit Make Default, and when you hit OK, it looks like the same exact drop shadow. So we just have another one. You can always like minimize or collapse these groups when we're done with them. This is my last group, and yeah, Control click, or is it in layer blending options? I wonder if it's somewhere else. I know it's like when you click on the group, hold Control and click and go blending options. And this is where you can add a drop shadow, right, to your layer. And now all of my pieces of glass have the same drop shadow effect, right? And it looks pretty nice. The other thing I did on these, which I kind of like, was just adding an adjustment layer on the background and like removing all the saturation or just making it black and white. So on this like background copy, I'm going to had a hue saturation adjustment like right above it, and just take the saturation all the way down, and you can see that it's just right above my background layer, and that way it's black and white on the background, but all of these pieces of glass still retain the color. The adjustment layer isn't affecting these other layers. So if you do this a couple times and get a bunch of different pieces of glass, it turns out really good. This is me just with 3, but I'm sure if you continue, it makes it look like really nice. Hope this helps. Have fun.